Hey,
What's
uh,
up?
not much. Hey, do you want to talk to everybody for a minute while I get us up on Instagram? Because my fat finger, right as I went to change from our countdown to our little opener, disconnected Instagram. So,
No worries. Yeah, you get Instagram going. I'm going to welcome everybody to the show. This is the Pit Stop Podcast brought to you by the folks at the Race to End Bullying. Natalie Waters, driver of the number one sprint car, part of that team and that cause. You should join along too. Check out their website, Race to End Bullying, and you can join the fight, join the race. We want to stop bullying because it's not cool. So, welcome from me. I'm Patrick Baumann. Brent Artie, you saw him just a second ago. If you didn't, he'll be back in just a minute, getting the Instagram live feed going. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram all at the same time. Wherever you're joining us from, feel free to comment. We're going to throw out a bunch of questions tonight, kind of interact with you guys. I've tried to get a list going here, stuff that I want to know, your thoughts, your opinions, what matters to you. So from Natalie, my friend Jeremy, and my friend Dale, welcome to the show. It's the Pit Stop Podcast. We do this every week. Wednesday, 8:30 has been the best time for us so far. You never know when we're really going to be on, but we're making a way so that you can know. Pretty soon we're going to be having a text/phone line subscriber things so you can receive a text from us or a voicemail, something like that. Probably text most often, say, hey, don't forget, tune into the show tonight at 8:30, and maybe have a link or something like that in the text message as well. So if you want to be part of the first group allowed into the Pit Stop Preferred Viewer Reminder Club, we'll have a catchy name for it. That doesn't work. We'll have a better name for it. Send us a DM, whether it's Instagram, send us a message on Facebook with your phone number, and we will make sure that you get added to the list. There is a limit to how many phone numbers we can put in there. So if you want in, make sure you get in soon. Brent's coming back. There he is.
if you're watching on Instagram, you're not anymore because I can't do it. We'd have to start the whole stream over, and we won't. So we'll just miss Instagram tonight.
It's okay. Normally we have Instagram too. And it's kind of a funny thing with the system that we use here. You got to be quick about it right when you start to get the Instagram going. It's a whole thing. But YouTube and Facebook, we're going to be live all the time that we're doing the show. So make sure you comment. I can't see him right now. Brent can probably see him. So Brent, if you could, if anybody
Jeremy,
put him on there. There's Jeremy. That's my friend Jeremy. He's also right here. If
right.
you'd like to be in my living room too, send me a picture of you, and maybe I'll let you into my living room. Jeremy sent me this nice canvas. Look at this, like a framed canvas of him in the number 88. Look at that car with a trophy on top.
That's like legit.
Yeah, it showed up, and I was like, it's not just a picture; it's canvas, high quality stuff. So if you you can bring me a picture of you to Magic Valley Speedway. Find me in the booth, and maybe I'll put you up in my living room. That sounds weird. I don't know. That's just how it goes. I'm the announcer. What's that?
It's not that weird.
I mean, for us, it's not that weird. Normal people, like if you haven't seen the show before and this is your first time, buckle up. This is how it goes. I'm the voice of Magic Valley Speedway in Twin Falls, Idaho. Brent Artie is the voice of the Iron. What do you call it? The Concrete Jungle? The Concrete Jungle. I was thinking Iron Body Fitness, sponsor of the show.
Yeah.
The Concrete Jungle Meridian Speedway.
We could call that if Joe and Heather would like to throw a check our way, we could call it the Iron Body Fitness Racetrack.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there'd be some commas in that check, but it's possible.
Yeah. I mean,
if you want to sponsor a track.
Yeah, they could do that.
There are different levels of partnership that we can engage in at the racetracks. If you're interested, seriously reach out. We can figure something creative out. But the Race to End Bowling, main sponsor of the show, also Iron Body Fitness, helps out with the show. The folks at Overturf Photography helping us out. They make all different types of swag, whether it's Christmas ornaments, shot glasses. This is, I don't even know what they call it. It's like a metal image, cartoonized of Natalie Waters sprint car. They can do it of basically any racer or race car.
Or announcer.
Or
Maybe
now,
we need,
yeah.
maybe we need cartoon announcer plaque thingy.
I want to see that artwork.
It could only make us look better.
Yeah, true. So maybe we need to look into that. But Overturf Photography, who else we got on the list? It's scrolling across the bottom.
Yeah, you've got Overturf, Western Cargo Services. They're helping us out. Performance Signs and Graphics with our big banner behind me. Appreciate Mike and the crew there. Scent Savvy with Shelby. So appreciate Shelby helping us out. The Tucker Webster Racing crew. And of course, we talked about Iron Body Fitness, keeping Patrick and I looking strong and beautiful. And Harry and the gang at Idaho CDL Training. I think that gets the majority of the folks. And if you guys want to help, and you can help however, I mean, you can trade us something out. You can, we're not. I don't know. I don't think we're picky, are we?
No, and we can definitely get creative with partnerships. So whether we want shout outs, you want a logo on the page, or whatever you want to do, we can work something out, because Brent and I are always in need. We're always testing out different microphones, different headphones. We're just right before the show tonight, we're talking about different lights we could use for the podcast, because we've got some lighting going on here, and we're trying to figure out how we can better light ourselves to make our setups just a touch more professional, and be able to see what you guys need to see. So we could use all the help we can get. We appreciate those folks that do help us out. But if you want to get involved, be a part of the show too, we can figure something out. Let us know. Yeah. Send us a DM. That's probably the best way to do it. All right, Brett, last week you guys had Dairy Days in Meridian?
Meridian Dairy Days.
For someone who's never been to Dairy Days, what is it?
So it's the 96th year. We just finished the 96th annual Dairy Days. For those of you, and even probably some of you that even live here with us in the Treasure Valley, Meridian was the dairy capital, where Meridian City Hall where Meridian City Hall is built right now, was a big dairy. That's where all the dairy farmers brought their milk.
Okay.
And it came out in, my dad, my grandpa, longtime dairy farmers in the Meridian area. The McGurdio family, Mike McGurdio, sprint car racer, his dad. So a lot of these families, so 96 years ago, and some people might not know that the Meridian Speedway is built on the Meridian Dairy grounds. The dairy board and the dairy farmers literally own the property. Adam and the crew and the ownership partners, they lease it from them. We keep the racetrack rolling. And pretty much the deal is, once a year they want to celebrate the heritage of Meridian. Even myself, when I graduated high school, Meridian had like 5,000-6,000 people, one high school. The Speedway was a little out in the middle of nowhere, not as out in the middle of nowhere as it was when like Adam's grandpa and my dad and Adam's dad and all those guys started. But Dairy Days is just that week-long celebration. They come in, there's stuff in the park, art, food trucks, all the cool festival type stuff. The parking lot was the Rainier Carnival this year. So we had the Ferris wheel and the flip around,
all the whirlies
things.
The Puco-ramas.
Yeah, yes, exactly. The dairy barn had cows and goats, and there was a petting zoo in one of the merchant buildings, food trucks. And it's, I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's such, what about the racetrack? Well, we wouldn't have a racetrack if it wasn't for the dairy board and the heritage. The infield is used for goat and dairy cow shows, like on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there are some bombs in the grass on Dairy Days weekend that you have to look out for. Yes, fertilizer. But yeah, so it's one of those small town celebrations that even though we have 20,000 people in this town now, it's still a staple. And for those of us that have been around, not only racetrack wise, but we did the parade this year, the Speedway did, and my fat butt walked like 2.5 miles handing out free tickets. Colton was there with me helping. Pat, our officials, we had a couple of cars in there. Kayla was out there. Everybody was doing their deal. So yeah, just a little celebration. And it's cool to have the racetrack be a part of it. Friday night we had a demo derby.
Ooh.
Short, sweet, 15. like 15 cars. We tried to flip some VW Bugs over. Didn't work so well. VW Bugs apparently don't roll; they just flip over on their roof and then slide.
I think I saw a video on
Yeah,
social media. Yeah.
yeah. Chuck Argon put together a really cool video. It was awesome to have Channel 6, one of our local news stations, stream that. We didn't do the streaming. Channel 6 did it,
Oh.
which was cool. They were down there on the ground with us. So a little bit of promotion that we really need at the track. And then, with some regular old Saturday night racing. And then at the end of Saturday night, they had a hot air balloon night glow instead of fireworks. That was their grand finale, was glowing balloons. And
Are you talking like they have the little tea light candle in it and they like
no, they like literally like real life, like big hot air balloons
oh,
that you float in the sky and you like ride in the basket and it's supposed to be romantic or for
full
me,
size?
I'd be cuddled in the corner because it's so damn high.
Dude, I could not do that. Dude.
So what they do is they tether them to the ground and then it gets dark and they all just like pull their little fire button and all the balloons like are glowing all over the baseball fields behind the speedway.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
So they're not taking off, they're just glowing.
No, they like in the mornings they did their like flights as part of the Dairy Days, but yeah, that night was just on the ground,
Glow
hot air.
show.
Yeah, just glowing. So
Cool.
So 96 years, man. I mean, I've been, like you said, when I was little, when I was in 4-H and FFA, we would hand out milk and take our sheep in trailers and ride them through the fair or through the parade. And so, for me and my family personally, it's been a long time deal. So. And then we throw some racing in, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I saw a few clips, and it's good. We love seeing stuff at the racetrack, but we were just talking about creative partnerships. What a creative partnership. Who would have thought you could mold those two worlds together, right, on the same property? And I've been up to Meridian Speedway just a few times, but I've been lucky enough to walk through some behind the scenes places, and I can attest there are literal stalls set up for cows and goats, and they are ready to rock. So when they have these Dairy Day type events, it's totally like you can go from having late models rip around on the racetrack to goats are just, out for show. Like it's something else, but I love it. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's a big part of everything that we do at Meridian. It's if you're driving into the north end and you see the barn under the north end out of the parking lot, it's literally painted Meridian Dairy Show right there on the barn. It's been there for at least 96 years. I haven't been there that long, but it's been there for a little while.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if you get a chance to walk around the racetrack a little bit, just keep your eye open for little things like that. Like you said, it's painted there. You can see it. You just got to look for it, and you'll see the signs and things are there, and it's really, really cool. And I'm glad that that the track has been around as long as it's been around, and the property has been set up in a way that it can continue to help both of those communities to have the events that they want to have there and have that, because that's prime real estate in Meridian now, right on Main Street, right?
Heck yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of guys with bigger bank accounts than you and I just with their mouth watering on that because it's 5 acres of prime, whatever you dictate prime as, grocery store, apartments, strip mall, whatever it is. But luckily we're hopefully locked in for quite a while to keep that racetrack up and running.
Yeah, it's like it's the heart of town. At least that was my perspective coming from out of town, right? We're rolling. I'm like, this is it. This is the center of town, and it shows too because everybody in town, it feels like, shows up, and it's always a party when you go to Meridian Speedway.
75 years, man.
That's awesome. I love it.
Is that what our schedules tell you? Okay, go ahead. Don't mind me. Maybe I was.
No, you're good.
No,
so I was
75 years.
75 years. I was telling the folks I can't remember what the year is at Twin too. There was something.
Yeah.
About that.
Look for that real quick. I'm going to just get some of these comments out of the way because I really want people to know that they can join us. We're going to want you guys to be a part of the show. So Patrick's chasing that down. Jennifer Rosso, she said the races were awesome. So thanks, Jennifer. Glad you're joining us at the racetrack and here at Pit Stop Podcast. Derek Barr, Donovan Barr, they're hanging out there, probably shotgunning some Dr. Peppers for Patrick, getting ready for a speed tour sprint car race. Looks like Jeremy says he's going to be coming up for the 208 with the 44 mod. He's just putting blood, sweat, and tears into it. So honestly, I was sitting there, I was looking at some of Jeremy's stuff. The crazy thing, Todd and DJ and Sam were doing, and myself a little bit, we're doing the Turn 5 Live podcast. Jeremy was a long time. I don't know that I've ever literally, truly met Jeremy. I think Jeremy and I think, are podcast friends. And maybe we have, because I've met a lot of people, but I think maybe Jeremy and I are podcast friends, because I was like, I remember, so Jeremy was always a supporter of Turn 5 Live and Todd and those guys. And anyway, Joe Daly, Iron Body Fitness, he's out maybe working on a race car. Maybe he's just taking a Wednesday off. So, hey, Joe, appreciate your help. Mitch Pearson from your neck of the woods down at Magic Valley Speedway, Street Stock Extraordinaire, is on.
What up, Mitch?
And Jennifer said she saw the night glow. The hot air balloon night glow was really cool. So Jaden's on. Jaden's our little front stretch buddy at Meridian Speedway.
Yep.
No, Joe, we do not still do the firefighter salmon feed. That has moved over to Kleiner Park. So Meridian used to do a salmon feed. We used to do pancake feeds in the little overhang there. Salmon feed is moved over to Kleiner Park by the village.
But if you want to feed some salmon, I like salmon. You bring it to Twin, and I'm in the booth. Find me.
Right. Yep.
I like salmon.
Derek says Jeremy's good. Okay.
Understatement, yeah.
I haven't talked to you yet, Patrick, but this guy is going to be a guest. Jeremy Anders is promoter at Wenatchee Valley Speedway. Okay. And in July, they're having their big sprint car event. So I reached out to Jeremy. We're going to get him on mid-July. I think it's July 12th, so probably like the week before. Anyway, we're going to bring Jeremy on to talk a little, because a lot of our sprint car guys are, going up there to Wenatchee. So thanks, Jeremy, for joining us. Oh, the All-Star Series. Yes, we did. Yep. Okay. There we go. Brent's old. I'm dumb. Hi again. Go ahead, Patrick.
It's all good. Jeremy's a world-class dude. It's always good to see him. I was telling so when you dropped off for a second, I was telling everybody as they were tuning in that we've got questions tonight. Another interactive night. I want to know. We're going to pick the brains of our viewers, right? We want to see how everybody feels about certain things. So get ready. Get ready on your little keyboards or your phones, whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter. Like I said, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, wherever, you can post a comment and it'll pop up for us to see.
Sorry.
So I just want to fire off some questions. And I know there's some, I'm trying to make a list. Some I've asked before, but I'll try to get some that I haven't yet maybe asked. Okay, first one I wanted to ask people, whether it's at Meridian or Magic Valley, I want to know where your favorite place is to sit. Not in a race car, because some of you could say that because you do that. But if you're not, if you're not going to be in a race car, where's the best place to sit? Because I could see, like, at Meridian, you got the north end. That's a whole different perspective, let alone the fans, the rowdy bunch down there. But
yes.
But just the view, right? Being able to have that as an option, because a lot of places, kind of like Twin, you're between turns 4 and 1, basically, is where you're at.
Yep.
But even there, do you have a place that you like? I mean, if you're not in the booth?
When my dad and I would go when I was little, we always sat on the west side right in front of the booth. My dad is and was, when we were going, huge, like, I want to see the photo finish. I want to see Glenn Naylor and Tom Naylor, pass, making that last pass. As I got older, and I'm like, maybe I go sit in the north end. The north end's cool because it's elevated a little bit. I mean, compared to the west side, so you're above. You see the cars coming head on at you down the back stretch. The only thing about the north end is you hope to God they turn, or else they're coming right at you. So, but I would have to say, I love my north end animals. But if I want to watch the race, I feel like it's a better seat on the west side in the middle somewhere. That's my thought. Now they're popping up. Now we're getting a bunch of them. North End Animal for Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer. Jennifer's an animal.
Tell us why, Jennifer. Give us another comment of why that, and it's not a good or bad thing, but tell us why.
Yeah.
Jaden Roberts is a young man, Patrick, that sits at the track with us. He's got his own set of flags. He's ready to take over Steven's job. So Jaden likes to be by the flag stand.
It's a good spot.
Yep. Jeremy likes the spotter stand at Meridian or Twin. I'm sure he's probably talking Meridian. Well, Meridian's over by the booth by us, so it's a long walk. That's probably what he's saying. Not too bad after the long walk. So Meridian is over by the booth. That is a long walk, though.
Yeah.
And here's a good one. Jaden just likes to watch races at Meridian Speedway. It's like, I don't care if I'm standing or sitting.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find a place that's not good to see the races from. But I'm just wondering, because I'm thinking about Twin. Like, if I wasn't in the booth, I have to consider shade options. Like, I'm just that guy. So I'm probably going to be high up against, because they've got banners that line the fence. You know what I mean? And I think I would either be close to the booth or I want to be posted up like turn 1.
Ooh, yeah.
Kind of like you said, how like the north end, they can see them coming straight, and then I get the front stretch as they're coming down into 1. That's kind of, I don't know, that's where I would want to try it out.
This might be embarrassing to say, but I don't think I've ever watched the race at Meridian Speedway. I've watched from the north end. I've watched from the west side. I don't think I've ever watched the race from Meridian Speedway further down than the booth. I don't think I've ever sat close to turn 1.
Well, see, and if I was at Meridian, so north end's cool because you've got access to, and I guess down by turn 1 too, because there's a snack booth down there too. So your guy's going to make a visit or two down there. So I want easy access, right? If you got a restroom and a snack booth nearby, that's prime time seating.
You got 3 of the 4 corners at Meridian Speedway. You have a bathroom, food, everything you want.
What a great track.
Oh, see, here's the best part. Jaden likes to sit there because he gets to see me when I come down the stairs.
Yeah, you just got to be careful. He never tries to trip you or something, huh?
Yeah, somebody might start paying the kid to knock me on my butt. Sure. I can give you a few people that probably let you do that right now. I got a list. That's it right now. Those are the folks that have tuned in.
All right. So that was one of the first ones that came up.
We got no. So yeah, I mean where's your favorite spot? Those are Twin, like you said, Twin has the beautiful grandstands that take you the front stretch into turn 1. And I like Twin because of like the little concourse area. You've got the lower bleachers or you can sit up in the upper bleachers.
Yeah.
That's always something that I thought Twin was pretty cool
it's kind of unique like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've asked where you like to sit. Where's your favorite? If you've been to Meridian or Magic Valley, where's your favorite place to sit? I'm going to keep going with questions, but you can always answer previous questions. Don't worry about it. So race night tradition, anything that you have to do or bring like to the racetrack. Because everybody knows my tradition. It's like I get there, we get everything set up. My son gets cameras going, this and that. It's cheeseburger with jalapenos and the biggest Dr. Pepper I can get on hand. I have to have that. And I'll have my Dr. Pepper. I'll have water too. Diana's great. She makes sure that we all bring tons of water, which is best for my voice. So I'll have a ton of water and Dr. Pepper as much as I can get there. Then I have to have that. If I don't, I just feel off. Mitch, what'd he say? Turn 1 or the family section at Magic Valley.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's his favorite. What's your favorite? Yeah, I don't know.
Race night tradition?
Yeah.
Is there anything you have to bring? I mean, like me and you, we always bring stuff, right? We bring everything from chargers to microphone foams to backup headphones and microphones and that. Yeah.
I think if I separate myself from what we do, if I go back to when I was a fan, even before I was racing, um, my dad and I keep going back to that, but that's the only reason I'm involved in racing is because my dad started taking me there when I was 4 years old. Um, we'd walk in, we'd make sure, and I would always get a popcorn, a licorice rope, and a Coke.
Yes.
Pepsi. Sorry, Pepsi. Used to be Coke. Pepsi. So Pepsi, licorice rope, and a popcorn. And not aging myself, but back then, that was like $3. It was like buck a piece. You know, I mean, that's just inflation. That's nothing against the racetracks or the grocery stores, but they had the long licorice ropes. They were 50 cents, and it was like $1 for the pop and $1.50 for the popcorn. That was our tradition. And then my dad would say he didn't want anything, and then like right when I was young, so right when I was really getting into it, he'd be like, "Hey, you want to go get me a hot dog?" And it'd be like right when the street stocks were coming out or something. Yeah. My dad. Oh, here we go. We got some people jumping in. Jennifer has to have her blanket.
That's actually a smart move. Even in the hot weather, if you might get some looks walking into the racetrack with a blanket, but that's a pro move.
Definitely. Jaden always brings his flags. He does. So thanks, Jaden. Okay. I'm just going to, while we're waiting for some people. So Jaden is here. You know who else used to do exactly what Jaden did when I started announcing 20 plus years ago?
Who?
In the same spot. Little tiny cute boy. So sweet. Riley Robert.
Oh.
Had his own set of flags right there behind the flag stand. And Jaden, it wasn't that much later that Riley was on the flag stand. So keep those dreams alive. It can always happen.
Yeah, you never know. And we had a kid too at Rocky Mountain Raceways that did the same thing. He was there always doing it. And then next thing you know, they've got him in one of the turns flagging, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's always a dream to be had, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I just erased Jennifer's comment, and I shouldn't have, but it said her tradition is always a Speedway hot dog. Gotta have a Speedway
and is it might sound really weird, but it said when it said what's one thing you have to bring, like I thought like a buddy, like you got to go with somebody, right? Like you don't just go. I mean, you can go to the racetrack alone, but like it's so much better having someone there with you. It's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to take a friend, your children. Like I said, I would never, I never missed a race up until, even up until 3 or 4 years ago when my sister or somebody would bring my dad. It was like, that's the cool part. Sherry's here.
Hi, Sherry.
So Sherry, you need to tell us, and if you've got the other folks watching with you, you need to tell us where your favorite place to sit at either racetrack is, and what is your favorite race day tradition.
Got it.
Was that the word?
Yeah. So favorite race day tradition, or something you have to do or have to bring to the racetrack. Yes. And I mean, for her, that'd be easy because she's like, I got to drag John to the racetrack every time, make sure he shows up,
Get that guy in here. So yeah. And then Jennifer says she never leaves the racetrack without going to the pits to see the friends in the pits. So
that's a good friend. I know I get that vibe. Jennifer's one of those people. She'll show up, support her friends no matter what.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna keep. Well, you got more?
Yeah, one for Sherry. Sherry answered. Hang on, I've got one. She loved to sit in the pits, and she has to bring moonshine. Now, Sherry brings a mean mason jar of moonshine to the racetrack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I agree. I think that is a must. You have to have, hot dog, Pepsi. When I was 7 or 8, Dad wouldn't let me have the moonshine, so now I can. Okay, there you go.
It's all good. Okay, here's a question, and don't be scared. I want to hear, because everybody's got one. Let's. who's a driver that maybe you didn't really like that much at first, but they kind of won you over, and maybe now you like them, or now you're a fan? So let us know.
I got one, but I'm gonna wait. We're a little too connected, but Patrick and I have a behind the scenes look at that. So I'll wait. We'll see they pop up, but yeah.
Yeah, so let us know. Maybe someone you didn't really like that much at first, or maybe just not, I don't know, just didn't like him that much at first for whatever reason, but then maybe they kind of won you over,
Right. Maybe I don't. Now I'm double thinking here.
I'll tell you someone. Here's someone comes to mind for me. His name's Jaron Mott at Rocky Mountain Raceways. Because he took me for the ride in the 2-seat late model and almost killed me. So I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate that. My ride with Randy Kerr was PTSD flashbacks to that event. So I wasn't the biggest fan. Jaron Mott, I was like, this guy almost killed me. I didn't even know the guy. Come to find out, he's like actually one of the most he's got so many different licenses and different classes and drag racing and oval track. He can basically race anything with an engine, and he still races jet dragsters to this day, right? So I actually was really safe. I just didn't feel like it in the moment. So I wasn't the biggest fan, but once you get to know him, and he won me over quickly. He's a super great guy, and him and Stefan, I love those guys. So that's who came to my mind with that question. I was like, at first, bad impression.
Right.
But he won me over.
We've got quite a few people between the the two platforms. Nobody wants to start any crap.
Yeah, see, don't be scared. I knew people were going to be like, well, I don't know if I want to say.
Okay, so Jaden and Jennifer said Andrew Palmer. Didn't like him at first, love him now.
Why? Because he's a ginger?
Yeah, what's the problem? Tell us why.
Why are you hating on gingers?
Dang,
I'm just kidding. It's
this
okay
is the wrong
for whatever
show to
reason.
do that on.
It's okay. Yeah, I know.
Every now and then, I got a little Irish in me. Some of these weird little things come out red sometimes. My mom's side of the family. Yeah, see, now they're all hushed. Now they're like, oh.
Okay, I'll keep going. But if you guys get the courage to answer that question, what do you think? Okay, let's talk for both tracks. What's the most underrated class at either track?
I'm gonna say I'll throw mine out there. I think Meridian is probably your Hornet division for a couple of reasons. Number one, people are like, oh God, they're Hornets. Well, those Hornet guys and gals pay the same money to get in the gate. They probably put the same, if not more hours than a late model guy, because it's usually the guy, not the crew, And on any given Saturday at Meridian, and even at Twin, I think, and you can back me up on that, the car count's amazing. Meridian will drop 20 of those cars on the racetrack at any given time.
Yeah.
I think we had 19 on Saturday, and it looked pretty good. So I would say the Hornets, just because you can't have what we have without a division like that. They're bringing cars. They're bringing drivers that are going to be someday racing a sprint car possibly. And they bring butts in the seats, which keeps our gates open, which means we can have Dr. Pepper and hot dogs.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. And I agree, because if you understand I only barely know this racing world just a little bit. And once you see the long-term things and you realize 20 Hornet cars today, what it could mean in the next 5 years. And it's exciting to see that. Okay, so Jaden agrees with you. Hornets at Meridian Speedway. I'm trying, for Magic Valley.
There's not that many Hornets at Meridian. Actually, 20-car field, Jennifer, is a huge field of cars for 2025 for any class.
Yeah.
15 is huge. So yeah, the Hornets are one of the larger divisions in Meridian. Those are the only two. So
I was going to say for Magic Valley Speedway, I think for underrated, I go back to the Bomber / Thunderdogs, right? Because I think people kind of look at that as like I don't know what that is, or kind of it's thrown in there or whatever. And it's not your 150 miles an hour around the racetrack racing, but it will get crazy. And there's no way that it doesn't take huge cojones to strap in during a Thunderdog race, because you literally don't know what's going to happen. Like the drivers don't know what's going to happen until Adam gets on that radio and goes, "Hey, guess what? Now we're going backwards, guys." And they send it full bore in those, whatever it is, whether it's a 98 Impala or a 02 Crown Vic or whatever it is, and they send it. It's just kind of one of those things where it's kind of, I get this vibe that it's just kind of like it's a throw on class. We'll throw it on there. Boom. It's in there. It's part of the event, even though the sprint cars or the late models or the whatevers are kind of like the main deal for the night. But you will always hear the crowd as loud as for the Thunderdogs / Bombers, whatever you call them, as for almost any other class.
All the time.
Yeah.
You've got
that's what I think.
Yeah, you've got your you've got your pure racing fans, and you've got your, for lack of a better term, your casual racing fans, and it takes all of those people to keep a racetrack open. So, if you're there to see a Thunderdog race go through the center of Magic Valley Speedway backwards and hope nobody hits the light pole, but then in the same instance, you're hoping they all hit the freaking light pole just to make a show. Those people are like you say, you hear them cheering. And then you roll out, like later on this year, you guys are going to roll out 25 or 30 Northwest Super Late models, and it's just going to be loud, ground pounding Super Late model racing when those guys come out. It takes everybody. But yeah, I agree with you there at Twin, because it's an expensive hobby, right? It doesn't matter if you're racing a Hornet. That I did that for 3 years. It was Hornet because that's all I could afford, because I had somehow, I don't know how, but 5 children roaming around my house, and they all wanted diapers and food. Come on, give me a break, children. But this next one, and the cool part I like about it, you don't have to be a Brent Hardy or a Patrick to run a Hornet or a Thunderdog. We see it, Gomez, Webster, and Barr raced them down in Twin. Adam threw some of those race car drivers in some Thunderdogs, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, we had a huge field. I remember that night, and I had no idea who's in these cars. And I'm trying to ask him, Adam, I'm like, who is that? And he's like, oh, that's Webster. And who's that? Oh, I think that's Barr over there. But you know what I mean? And it's all of those race car drivers, they've got a bit of Thunderdog in them, even though they might not race every weekend one. It's in there, and so if they've got the opportunity and they can strap in, it's fun.
It all had to start somewhere. Sherry, double deckers, she liked those.
If you've never seen a double decker, so it's a double decker car on top of a car. I believe it was car on top controlled the steering, car on bottom controlled gas and brake pedal. That's it, right? So person on top, all you do is steer. You got no control, throttle, or anything like that. And yes, so Sherry Waters and Jennifer Hardy, Hard Water. Get it? The names there?
Yes.
Hard Water. There you go. Hard Water. And if you never seen, so they're just a spectacle in and of themselves. And we've seen one at Magic Valley in my time there, right? We've seen a double decker hit the track. But when you get a handful of double deckers, if you see one of those tip over, I'm like, there is no way there's enough ice packs and Tylenol in the pit area, because, oh my gosh, because of how tall those things, they sit so far up off whoever's in the top deck. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That would be like, I mean, I've never had the problem, but that would be like being a tall person and falling. I always thought I was so lucky
Yeah.
for being, I'm so lucky to be short because when I fall on my butt, it's a short fall, right?
That'd be like being 6'1". I have no idea what that's like, you know.
Pretty good chance neither of us will ever will either. But
Yeah.
Donovan Barr, that'd be cool. You know, it'd be cool to get some double deckers out and put some father son. Donovan, where would you sit? You going to trust the old man with the gas, or are you going to trust the old man with the steering wheel? That would be interesting.
That's a good question because you got to have the right person in each seat to make that work.
Yeah. Jim and John were called Jimmy John Freaky Fast.
Yep, Jim and John Waters. Yep, Jimmy John Freaky Fast. I remember these cars. It was my first year at Rocky Mountain Raceways. Catchy names and I mean, if you know the people, it was so much fun.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. What's that?
I just want Donovan to get back to me. I want to know who he'd want up on the top steering, if he would trust his dad or not. So, okay, that's it right now.
It's all good. So that was we're talking about most underrated class at either track. Here's a question. Okay, this one, I like this one. This has to do with what you and I do. So I want to know, everybody that's watching right now, please chime in on this. Do you enjoy those post-race interviews? Like, do you like those? Would you change those? How we do things like that? Or like some people, I bet, don't even care about the interview. They just want to, let's go with the next race. Let's go. Some people might not realize that those post-race interviews sometimes buy enough time for folks to jump from one race car into another race car, because we've got a handful of folks that do that, a la Andrew Palmer that we mentioned a few minutes ago, right? So he might go from one race to another, and that 1-2 minutes that we spend getting the person down to interview him, that gives him 38 seconds to get a drink of water and hop in another car, strap in, and get back out on track. But do you like the post-race interview? Would you change it? If so, how? Let us know. Do we make the person sing karaoke? I don't know. Do we do more shotgun?
More Dr. Pepper shotguns?
Do we need to live it up? Yeah. Like what, because, I just want to know what people think as far as post-race interviews. Should there be something else in its place? Yeah. Should there be? I mean, if we need to change up and do something else.
Donovan said Donovan's not going to lock his dad into either the top car or the bottom car. They'll have to discuss that. They'll have to discuss that on that night. So, fine, Donovan, you wuss. No, I'm just kidding. He's like, there was a time I could probably call him that when him and my son were racing go-karts. Donovan is way too big for me to have said that, so I take that back. Come on, guys. We like some post-race interviews.
Let us hear, because, I mean, people can predict basically what we're going to ask, what we're going to say. If you've been around the racetrack long enough, Sherry says they're fun to listen to, so keep them. We try to throw in something that for the people that have been there every single week, like Sherry, she's heard probably 8 billion post-race interviews in her 27 years that she's been alive. And
25.
Oh, my bad. 25.
Yeah.
But if they need to change, we always want to know. And that's something that I think about. How can I make that more fun, more interesting?
Yeah.
And that's a part of it too, like Donovan just mentioned. It gives the racers, the drivers, a chance to thank their sponsors. They've got a lot of folks to help them out. They want to make sure that they get shout outs for those people, and let the sponsors know that they're appreciated and the partnership is valued there. That's helped them to get where they can get a win on the track. Like them. I can tell we've got some serious race fans. Because you guys are all tuning into our podcast.
You're watching this show.
Yeah. Sherry, 25. Okay, so here's the homework. What's that?
I was just apologizing to Sherry that you called her 27.
Yeah, my bad. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. That's I didn't mean to. Homework assignment then. Think about that. If you can think of a way we can jazz up the post-race interviews, shoot us a DM. And if I incorporate, if you have a good enough idea to where we actually do it, shout outs for the crew that don't get credit. Yeah, crew, they deserve all the shout outs they can get. But if you can give us a way to spice up a post-race interview and we do it, and I'll do it at Magic Valley Speedway. You give me a good idea, I'll do it. I'll buy you a Dr. Pepper next time at the track. So
There you go.
and that means a lot. That's not just a drink for me. That's like
Put on your
there's a
thinking
bond
cap.
there.
There's a what?
Yeah. There's a bond there. If you share a Dr. Pepper with someone, that's a special thing to me.
Yeah.
So
It's like you've made that next step closer friendship.
yeah. Yeah.
How's that?
Donovan knows. We've shotgunned a Dr. Pepper together. That's something that you just can't say you've done with everybody.
Right.
It's special. It's a moment. And I have a
Sure.
feeling we'll do it again.
Sherry's going to be in Twin. She's going to bring you your picture. So that's
I'll be happy to see you. Okay, let's keep rolling here. If you had one class that's going to run every single weekend, what class is it? Every other class is going to change, week in, week out. One class runs every weekend. Which is it going to be? Let me know what you guys think. Because you got some of the series, a lot of people like the sprint cars, the late models, the midgets, the whatever. You want to see that every week? Or do you want to have the wild, crazy Thunderdogs every week just to throw in some spice, some crazy.
just in case, right?
Yeah, see, Donovan, we're Dr. Pepper brothers forever. That's it. That was my first shotgun ever. There you go.
It froze. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't get rid of Donovan's comment. I thought it was going to be permanent forever. Class every weekend. Man, I'm old school. I'm a street stock guy. I would love to see some steel-bodied. I love all the other, but I think just for a memory's sake and down home short track racing, you got to see some Novas and Camaros and what are the new one? The Monte Carlos now. I'm a street stock fan. Always have been. Donovan says.
As long as I get a tire sponsor.
Yeah, that's a lot of races, Donovan. That would be 28 races at Meridian, 18 races at Twin, or if we threw in the dead weekends in between two, you'd be way over 30. Yeah, you need a tire sponsor.
It's a lot of tires.
Bombers, Thunderdogs. Jennifer likes those, so that's. And like I said, that's your, the fans that like the different parts of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
13 different classes you can choose from, so it's like, which one do you like? Sherry would. Oh, Donovan likes trucks. Trucks do put on a good show.
That's probably what I was going to say. Trucks. If you can get a solid field of trucks, everywhere I've seen them, it's been a good show.
Yeah. In their heyday, when Randy was running the series, the ASA truck series, and they'd have the 15, 16. I mean, I loved them. I don't know about Salt Lake and Twin. I didn't get to see a lot of them there, but at Meridian, it was just fender banging, ripping tailgates off, spinning around sideways when Hannah Newhouse and John and all of them were running them. And then it's like, we weren't peeling any out of the fence. Nobody was upside down. It was just, I might have to switch my street stocks to the truck. I'm leaning with you on that one. They put on.
Yeah, it's good. And as much as we like seeing the crazy stuff with the Thunderdogs, keep it in that class. You know what I mean? Yeah, we don't want to see sprints. Yeah. We need a tire sponsor too. Yeah, because those rear right tires are about as big as my minivan,
And probably cost as much.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure. Yeah, race tires are expensive, and Adam does his best to keep it reasonable. He's not quadrupling the price, and he's not paying the mortgage off tires, but it's just life right now, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's a question, man. Look at that, because think about it. At my first, when I was thinking about that question to race every weekend, I was like super modifieds.
Mm-hmm.
Like super modifieds every weekend. That'd be cool. But but as we're seeing the race, you can see the racers. It would take. They're like, holy crap, I'd do it, but I need tire money. I'm gonna need some gas money. You know what I mean? Like, there's a huge cost involved, and that's partly why we can't have some of these classes run every single weekend, because it's a ginormous cost. Especially, just to run these race cars, like the sprint cars, for example. Sherry just commented, but like those guys are coming from hours away. Just to show up, they're spending the gas money. Oh my gosh, just to get there. And then
that's just the $3.50 a gallon gas. That's not counting the $12.50 or whatever the race fuel is now.
Yeah, just to get there. So, going back to the comment I made earlier about like if you've been around racing for any little bit amount of time and you realize that some of these folks are driving 4 or 5 hours plus, we see people from California, people maybe from Washington, wherever, coming down for a race. Man, it makes me feel so appreciative that they're showing up, because just to get there is a whole journey in itself, and then the adventure that you have at the racetrack. And God forbid something breaks on a car, that cost just goes up exponentially, And I remember hearing at Rocky Mountain Raceways, Jimmy Waters was running a sprint car, and I think he blew a motor or something one night. And I was walking through the pits afterward, and I heard some numbers being thrown around, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like I knew it was going to be a lot. I didn't know it was going to be that much, and to where I was like, am I going to see this guy race again? Sure enough, I mean, Jimmy Waters will figure out a way to race, right? Like he was always going to be there, but huge costs involved. So
Yeah,
it's a shame we can't have every class every weekend. Shane Prince, he's with Brent on the street stocks. Street stocks are solid too. It's like that's one of those classes that has been around and will be around, right? It's just badass cars that are always fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, there was a day, when I was little, we would have B main events for the street stocks every weekend almost, because there's so many. Have a fast trophy dash and a slow trophy dash. So all the drivers got a chance to get in a trophy dash. Street stocks were, it's kind of your mainstay. That's what race, you think about going, you think about short track racing in Meridian or Twin Falls or even in Salt Lake City. It's like, yeah, we need to go find ourselves a Camaro or like I said, a Nova or whatever. That's kind of your basic. And then you're like, okay, now I want to go get a late model, or I want to go sprint car racing, or I want to go buy a Legend. But it's like, I think myself, like having Kendra and Taylor in cars, I think the street stock class was awesome for them to get laps and figure stuff out. That's obviously they're following in their mom and grandpa's footsteps because that's what they ran. But it's a pretty cool class. Exactly, and that's what I mean. And Mitch, were we talking about your body or the cars? What 50-year-old body?
Yeah, who's 50-year-old body?
50 yet. Yeah,
he don't look that old.
No, or maybe he's talking about mine. Because it's a nice steel 50-year-old body. Thanks, Mitch. I didn't know you were looking.
He's gonna buy a calendar.
Yeah, he's gonna get the sexy announcer calendar 2026. Yeah, maybe not. So yeah, that's it's a lot of racing, it's a lot of money, but yeah, that's and you can kind of tell by the answers of how long these people have been in it or what their favorite is, just straight up, no matter what their hard-earned money goes to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, old school. Oh, Mitch is probably like, shut up, Brent. Talking about the car, not you. Okay.
Mitch can throw around us. Yeah, he can throw around a race car.
Mitch can drive a street stock. Mitch had a little modified time too.
Oh.
Yeah, Mitch, I don't know how long, but Mitch had a modified. But I love seeing Mitch Pearson in a street stock. He can drive the heck out of that thing.
Right on.
You get to visit with him quite a bit.
Yeah, he does very well. I'm going to keep asking some questions. You let me know when we're running out of time in that. But so I'll just keep going. So, okay, what's something about the racetrack or the racetrack experience that has changed over the years? And I'll tell you something that I've heard, having now been around Rocky Mountain Raceways, Magic Valley, and a dash of Meridian. Something that I swear I hear at every track that's changed from, if you talk to the people that have been there for forever and ever, they say, I remember when these bleachers were made out of wood. That's one thing that always seems to come up when people talk about back in the day, right? I remember when, and I haven't been at, I only got a few years at RMR, a few years now at Magic Valley. So I haven't seen a ton of the history, but I do go back and try and find photos. from back in the day. And I remember it was not crazy long ago that Magic Valley didn't even have the full, like a wall around like turns 3 and 4. You can go back on Google Maps and see. And I'm like, man, if somebody, we've seen some crazy stuff at 3 or 4 where there's like a canal back over there. Like I'd be worried about that, So, can you think of something that's changed from back in the day? If you've been around Meridian for a while.
I remember when the walls in the corners and possibly the backstretch. I remember when the walls were wood, 2x6. The front stretch wall at Meridian has always been what it is. I mean, literally, you can look at pictures from the 60s and 70s and concrete wall with the very same, the structure holding them down. When there was a wreck at Meridian in the 80s and prior, the turn 1, 2, backstretch 3 and 4 were literally 2x6. It was wood, nailed in. So when you hit the wall really hard, you had the dirt crew cleaning up oil, and then you had the fence crew putting some new 2x4 or new 2x6s on there.
Then you got a on-call carpenter.
Yeah, you got to have your carpenter there. That was the snake pit. That's right, Shane. That's without the wall. When you jump over, that was the snake pit. We had one out at Chaparral Speedway too. No walls. Chaparral had a wall separating you from the pits, very, very similar to the layout of Magic Valley. They had a wall separating you from the grandstands. There was no wall on the backstretch and nothing in 3 and 4, and that's what we called the snake pit in Magic or in Chaparral too. So, yep.
Dude, this is crazy because like we just saw in the last race we at Magic Valley, we had a Thunderdog hit the backstretch wall, boom, and darn near flip over. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if that wouldn't have been there, that's crazy town. I can only imagine.
It's like twofold because like even when we'd race out at Chaparral with no back wall, you'd get that tire off of the asphalt and then it's desert out there, similar to Twin. It's just desert. You get that tire off the asphalt, going 75, 80 if you're in a street stock, and then it's like, okay, this is good because if there was a wall there, my tire wouldn't be off the asphalt. I'd be in the wall. But then how the heck am I going to control this car because there's no wall?
Yeah, you got grip on one tire and nothing on the other.
Yeah. So, what do we got? Mitch says in the 90s, just sponsor wood signs on the backstretch and cars would break right through them. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Lynn went off the track at Twin into a big old cloud of dust into the snake pit. A lot of these drivers, there's probably people watching the show that are going to watch the show that know. I know Marv Weaver went flying into the snake pit at Chaparral before. You just all these little things, that bring back those memories of the cars that. Yes, the motocross track. Shane, the motocross track at Chaparral was brutal if you were in a street stock or mini stock and you spun out and hit it. My dear late friend Dan Breach and I, we, due to our lovely friend Adam Nelson, who put on a show no matter where he was at, we got to drive Hornets on a motocross track.
What?
The only time I ever beat Dan Breach.
On a motocross track.
We'd come down the front stretch. Adam would have us jump through some jumps. Like literally, I had a Plymouth Reliant station wagon. Dan had a Honda, I don't want to say CRX, Prelude, a Honda Prelude. So the old, the family wagon could take a jump. Dan's car couldn't. But then when we got back on the asphalt, he'd go flying by me. But there was one night that I conquered thanks to the, and I think dirt fell out of that car for the next 2 years. But yes, Chaparral had a motocross track in the infield. Very cool. Multi-purpose facility. Chaparral was a pretty cool place.
It's interesting to see, huh? Some of the things that have just changed. It's just evolved over the years.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, next question.
One more? 9:30? Yeah,
Let's
one more.
see. Okay.
Go out with a bang.
Speaking of bang, it was like what's the craziest? A crazy crash that you've witnessed? So, and you've probably seen a lot of crashes because you've announced for a few more years than I have. But I was thinking at RMR, there's a couple of crashes where I remember just being kind of like scared, like I don't know, there was. So I remember Rodney Park. It was a truck race. Something went wrong on the front stretch and he went straight into turn one, straight into the wall. And I was so new. It was like, I would have to get a vibe from if Dan Breach reacted, I knew it was pretty crazy. You know what I mean? He'd seen so much that if he's going, oh no, then I know that's not your ordinary crash. So that was one I remember where it was basically like if he hadn't had as good of a roll cage as he did, a cage, I wonder if he would have lost his legs. It was a bad wreck. Then we had a Pro 4. I think was it a Pro 4? Drew Crenshaw racing at RMR. Same kind of thing. Turn 4, didn't turn, straight into the wall. Fans ran right down there. It was kind of crazy. But one of the wildest ones, the scariest ones, I guess the craziest would be at RMR. They would do the figure 8 train races, right? Where they had 3 cars chained together doing that. And we had one of those where the rear car of a train got ripped in half, literally in half. And so they go red flag immediately. And the general manager, Mike Eames, was there. And he made a comment to the effect of, we don't know which half of the car he's in. Because they had split, right? And they kind of were, I don't know, 20, 30 yards apart. And like safety crew didn't know which one to go to. So they sent a truck to each half of this car. And I'm like, we don't even know what half of the car this guy's in. And the guy ended up breaking his arm. Thank goodness he was fine. Ended up okay. But I mean, if you've seen a figure 8 train race, it was crazy. I mean, that was RMR, right? It was just some wild stuff. And we love to see the craziness, but that was one where I was like, everybody reacted in a way where I was wondering if, what was going to happen. That was crazy. At Magic Valley.
Okay,
what's Mitch saying?
Okay.
It was it last year? Sorry, I'm trying to remember if it was last year or before. Jenna Qualley in the trucks, and she went
year before,
right, and she went, ended up on her roof, and that was kind of scary. Good thing good thing ended up right over there by the entrance to the track where safety and people were right there and could get Randy Kerr. I remember was literally sprinted right down there and ran to her. Those are some of the. I'm trying to think. We have some wild stuff, like I mentioned, the bombers hit last time, just almost flipping over. I feel like we've had some good crashes into turn 3. Turn 3 is probably where I've seen the most go on at Magic Valley in my just few years there. But ones like that, like Jenna ending up on her lid and sliding, like I get scared. And I don't know if it's because I'm a dad now and these young kids racing and stuff, you see something happen and it just makes my heart sink sometimes. Crazy.
I think mine, in all my years, I've seen a lot that kind of freak you out a little bit, because as you know, the longer you're calling these races, the more these are your friends, not just people, right? Not just participants. Spectacular, like big airtime, street stocks. I don't know how many years ago it's been now, but it's been a while. JT and I were in the booth. Was Marv Weaver, Rick Baldwin, Melissa, and she took off like a spaceship into the billboards in turn 1.
Oh my gosh!
And I think I'm pretty sure that the fence post behind the billboards what stopped stopped her from going. It was just a lot of air. I guess that was a lot of air. We see that in turn one a lot. That one's probably a lot of air. And then the ones that just kind of make your heart stop. A couple years ago at Diamond Cup, Brent Collins in the '77 Matt Elliott car. That one, I love Brent to death, like a brother, and Matt and those guys. That one made my heart fall like straight to my waist because I was like, you just it's the angle, it's the sound. Yeah, that one scared the living heck out of me.
Well, and you guys had that. That was that turn 4. You had that camera view that got it. Turn 3.
Turn 3, yeah, right down the back stretch. Came right into the turn 3 wall, and wish I remember. He watches our show. Anyway, he had his camera right there. Crinkled safety equipment. Had nothing to do with the racetrack. Had nothing to do with anything. It was just a racing incident, and we all know. But the cool thing in both of those ones I remember, they both got out and walked away, and that's the good part. Mitch got put in the wall in 4 and slid down the front stretch at RMR back in the day. And another Mitch said he tried to lawn dart a street stock in 2019 off the turn 3. And the street stock Mitch is racing. He's flipping over is crazy, man. That's a crazy, because you think, oh, I've got a roll cage, everything's fine. Flipping over is nuts.
There's no way it can be okay.
It can't be fun,
Yeah.
Some of us might lose our lunch, but I don't know. Rattery cutting off a fence post in the modified. Don't remember that. No, that's a hit. Chris had a long racing career. See, in Boots, it's all these rolling down the front stretch sometimes as high as the fence. We'll get a couple more here. Oh yeah, now they're popping in. Kaylin. Oh. Okay. She needs to.
Yeah. Gonna make a race Meridian this year. Make it to Meridian this year. It is something else. Meridian is a great track to be at, hang out. So get up there if you can. I know it's a drive from down here in the Utah, but it's worth it. Worth it.
I don't know if you've ever seen this one that Spanky's bringing up. If you YouTube when we're done here, you YouTube Austin Hager Meridian Speedway Legend Wreck, whatever it'll pull up. Yeah, that one was gnarly. That one was in the air, north end, hitting the fence, pirouetting in the sky, and then just came down with a thud. But yeah, that one. That's right. I forgot Austin. That was a great. That might take the cake for me.
Is that 2010? Is that right?
Probably. Yeah.
That sound right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
Look it up. 28 car, blue car. That. JT and I were in the booth announcing that night. I think again, Austin was a young kid that we all watched grow up in outlaw karts, and watching him do that was.
And he was okay though? Was he all right?
Austin was never really okay, even before the wreck. I'm just kidding. Yes, he did. Yeah, he got out under his own power. Who knows? I think it might have knocked a little sense into Austin. No, and we can say that we love Austin Hager to death, but yeah, and that's the thing. All these ones that we've all talked about, and these guys are talking about. Okay, yes, they all walk away. On Sunday morning, half of them probably felt like total crap, but
yeah,
that's just the jarring. That's just part of the deal. See, Spanky and I go back with Austin. He's like, define okay. Okay, as in he still walked away without assistance. How's that?
Yeah.
It sounds like we had a midget that shook the flag stand at Twin in the 90s.
Oh, geez.
I wasn't born in the 90s, Shane, so I don't know. No, I was old in the 90s.
Yeah, you were just
Yeah. Um, yeah, some of those crazy ones. Those are the ones you just. But again, like I said, unfortunately, at both of these racetracks, there have been moments, and thank God it hasn't been lately. We've lost some people at both of these racetracks. Some of the accidents that we've seen lately, I say in the last decade and a half, we haven't, and there's a reason for that. It's the safety equipment. It's the skill of the safety crew, all that sort of stuff. So dangerous sport. It could happen at any time, but yeah, the wrecks like Hager and Brent Collins, just for me, firsthand watching them, yeah, they walked away, and that's the coolest thing. Oh, okay. See, now Spank and I are showing our age. Kirk Wortman, Wortman Racing. It wasn't quite 100 though, Spank. I will say that I probably was too young to drive. But yeah, Kirk had it was a bad one. And these are the things. He's still at the race. These guys and their families are still out at the racetrack. Yeah, I think that one. I do think, and Spanky can tell me for sure. Spanky, I think that hurt Kirk. I think that one injured him. But cool thing is he's still out there wandering around with us. But yeah, that was a bad one back in the. I don't know if it's 100 years ago, but I'll probably say 80s. Spanky maybe 80s, 90s. But
half 100 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually, never mind. That was okay. We're halfway there. Look at young Patrick making fun of us.
Oh, Derek Barr said he remembers that.
Derek Barr remembers it. It was one of those. Yeah, it was. We had we had some bad ones. We've had a few. I know at Twin. There's been we lost some drivers and stuff. Meridian. Yeah. So Steve said the 80s. That's what I thought. And now I can really say, I think I was still in single digits of age. I think I was. I'm 10 or 11. Yeah, I was probably in there.
I'm glad those type of wrecks are few and far between, and like you said, less and less due to technology advancing, and also I think due to opportunities for drivers at earlier ages. So they're the skill level of drivers just getting better and better too. Mm-hmm. And you combine those things, and we're glad that if we just see some little tail spin outs at the racetrack, cool. I'm happy with that because the cars cost a lot of money, and we worry most about the people that are in them. So. You'll always see crazy things like at a racetrack. We just want everybody to go home at the end of the day so that we can race again another day. Mitch sent me a video, sent me his street stock throwing sparks between 3 and 4 going for a ride, it looks like.
Oh, see, we'll have to get that on the Facebook page. You'll have to upload that later.
Save it. Cool.
Okay, man. So, yeah. We're going to Twin Falls, man. We're not racing at Meridian. We're dark.
Are you coming down?
We're going to get 2 races at Twin before we race at Meridian again. Can you believe that? We're going to race Saturday and July 3rd, and we don't race at Meridian again until the 4th. So, what do you got going on this weekend? I know all the kids in the crowd are going to be happy.
Yeah, so that's the big thing is the Pacific Steel and Recycling Lucky Rides Night. So if you don't know what that is, they're going to get as many drivers as they can. They'll get race cars out on track, throw kids in each one of them, a few kids, and they kind of give them little parade laps. Nothing crazy high speed, but let the kids hop in a race car. You'd be able to say they rode around the track in a race car. My kids have done it. They've loved it. So if you've got young ones, bring them out to Magic Valley Speedway this weekend because it's going to be fun. And we get as many of the kids in as possible. So that's something that everyone's going to love, but we're going to have the Speed Tour Modifieds, Southern Idaho Mini Stocks, Western Mountain Inc., NASCAR, late models, McDonald's Street Stocks, so we'll see Mitch Pearson, Idaho Vintage Racers, and the Budweiser Thunder Dogs. So all going to be racing for trophies. So make sure you come on out.
Saturday night, and then we're back at Twin Falls on Thursday. January 3rd, or not January 3rd?
July 3rd, yeah. So July 3rd is obviously going to be our fireworks spectacular and Hornet car meltdown.
Ooh.
So we'll have NASCAR trucks, Western Mountain Inc. late models, midgets. We're going to have Project Filter mini modifieds, Fastlane Automotive Hornets, Speedway midget series. So the midgets as well. But we will melt down a Hornet car. If you have not seen that, trust me, you want to. If you ever wonder what it takes to see one of these cars burn down, we'll show you. And we did this once at Dan Breach. It kind of introduced me to this at RMR. And I remember people in the stands, and I'll say this, I'll probably recount this every year, but people were in the stands were like, why are you guys even doing this? And I was just like, America, man, because we freaking can. And the folks that heard it they were like, yep, good enough for me. Let's burn this thing down. And it's a good time. So bring your little kids out. We'll get them in some race cars. They'll take a couple laps in a race car, and then come back on the 3rd. We'll have fireworks and melt a Hornet car down.
Yeah. So, and then when the 3rd's over, we're all driving back to Meridian. Talk about it more next week. But yeah, Stinker Stores Firecracker 50s. City of Meridian joins us in in celebrating Independence Day. So you get 2 for 1, hour and a half away from each other. So
love it.
I'm gonna get off work on Thursday and hopefully get down to Twin to enjoy that with you guys, and then turn around and come home that night and be ready for 4th of July. A couple of these final comments should have another speed tour mod. So Shane and those guys getting the car out for the 208. That's a big one we're going to talk about. Can't wait for that. Yeah, and one last crash thing, and I think this crash, I was in the grandstands. Me and my dad were in the grandstands for this one. This one put a Super 6 into the crowd. It definitely made more fencing, more safety. We did lose one of his family members that night, Renee Voorhees, her mother, and it was rough. It was a tough one, but I think, how do you say it? I mean, even like with sometimes tragedy can turn into, safety,
innovation and
safety innovations to not let it happen again. Those are the things that you don't ever want to see. So yeah, Twin Falls, you guys have had a couple weeks off. You're probably itching to get back in that booth, huh?
Dude, I'm so ready, man, because when I'm not at the racetrack, I'm working my other job on Saturdays, and I'm ready to not be there. I'm ready to be at the racetrack on a Saturday, man. You know what I mean? Jeez. So
it's time. It's time. You guys need a little racing down there at Twin, and I'm sure the fans are going to be excited for tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night. I mean, they can be excited tomorrow. Nothing's happening.
Sure.
They can be excited Friday or Saturday night. And then we head back just 4 days later. You guys got the minivan all gassed up for two Idaho trips in less than 7 days?
Yeah, dude. So got the tires rotated on the old gal, and I think I'll have to check, make sure if I need to get an oil change before then, but we're hauling either way. We're going to get up there.
Don't change it, just add more. That's what my So we're going to Twin Falls. I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down and hang out. I'm going to go down Friday afternoon, see if Spanky needs some help, and then we'll go racing on Saturday.
Sounds good.
And then back here on 4th of July. 3rd of July there, 4th. God, I told you in like February when we got back on the air and everybody jumped up and started helping us, the Race in Bowling, all those guys and gals. I said, it's not going to be too long. We're going to be talking about trick-or-treating and fireworks.
Yeah.
And here we are. Before we go, though, we do want to wish some well wishes and prayers to Kendra and Taylor Achapenti, Melissa Weaver, and Ron Weaver, the family. They lost their mother a week ago, or just on Friday. So just our thoughts and prayers to the family. We know that sometimes people are in a better place, but it doesn't make it any easier. So Melissa, Kendra, Taylor, Ron, and the whole extended family from us here at the Pit Stop Podcast, we want to send our prayers out to that family. 2025 just kind of keeps on kicking us all every now and then. So again, just want to send our best wishes, our well wishes out to them, and prayers for losing Donna on Friday. Obviously, they lost Marv in January, so it's been a rough year for them, and just want them to let us know that we're all here for them, whatever they need. We'll pick them up.
Yeah, listen, if you're going to take anything away from today's show, give people their roses before they're gone, and come out to the racetrack. Let's have a good time.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and like I said, we've dealt with it a lot this year. The racing family is there for you in the end, whether it's 2 days later or 8 months later. You guys have, my family himself. You guys have been there for me. I know Melissa and her family and the kids. Al Russell. I mean, you don't even want to go through the names that you and I have had to talk about on here because there's been so many. But either way, thoughts and prayers to the Weaver and Achapenti family. And hopefully they and everything will be good. So Saturday night, it's going to be in Twin Falls, Idaho. Is it going to be hot? I don't even know. Are we going to have a nice 168,000 degree day in Twin?
Dude, I bet
30.
So we're looking high of 86, low of 59. So I bet you know what I mean? You get there right when gates open. It's going to be a little warm, but we'll cool off as the night goes on. So it will end up all right.
Cool. Okay. So Friday night practice at Twin Falls, 5 to 8. No practice at Meridian tomorrow for you guys and gals that are Meridian guys, because we're taking the week off completely. So no Thursday night practice at Meridian. Spanky will be down there. I'll be down there with him. We'll get things rolling on Friday night with some practice. Sounds good. So, okay. So hey, for all real quick, I know we went a little longer, but that's okay. We had fun. Next week, Flying Brian Schaefer is going to join us just for a few minutes. We're going to talk a little super modified action with him. Then Jeremy Anders shortly after that, the next week, I think. So we got a couple of good guests lined up for the next couple of weeks as they get ready for some of the, Flying Brian Schaefer, just a super modified guy. So we're going to chat with him.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy's got a huge show going on at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. So we'll get Jeremy on that Wednesday before the Big Wing Sprint Car Show. All the sponsors, Raced In Bowling, Overturf Photography, and then all those other great groups of people to help us. We appreciate your help.
Thanks, guys.
So, hey, we'll be down at Magic Valley Speedway. We'll be the supporting cast to you guys and the family, live on speedcast.tv as well. It's going to be cool just to come and hang out with you guys again at Twin Falls. It's my favorite. I always have them in the calendar. When I see a Twin Falls day and there's not a Meridian day in my race calendar, it's time to hit the road. So we'll be down there Friday night.
Love it. Can't wait.
All right. Flying Brian Schaefer, and then we'll preview 2 huge 4th of July shows. It's going to be Wednesday Pit Stop Podcast, Thursday at Magic Valley Speedway, Friday at Meridian Speedway, and then I don't know. I'll have to go find some racing on Saturday up here on July 5th. So for Patrick, myself, go like and share and subscribe to the YouTube page. We put all the Diamond Cup interviews that Peyton and I did on there. I just did it yesterday because I didn't realize, you get busy, life gets crazy. But we've got 996 followers on Facebook.
Oh.
Number one. If we can catch who number 1,000 is, we're gonna come up with a cool Overturf Photography prize.
Deal.
996. I don't even know that many people. Patrick.
I want it before. Let's hit 1,000 there. It's only going to take a few before Saturday. So let's do it. And we'll see if we can find out who the 1,000th is, and we'll hook you up with something. So share our YouTube page.
Okay. So again, we'll be down at Magic Valley Speedway, 4th of July preview 1 week from tonight. We appreciate you guys joining us. Again, thoughts and prayers to the families that have lost their loved ones. And let's go racing. Let's start healing again and see how this thing goes.
Let's do it.
Okay. See you at Twin Falls on Saturday, Patrick.
See ya.